The fundamental importance of presence comes from the true origin of the question of what presence even is. The way you're living now, if you're someone who lives in the city or lives in literally how many people live, you realize that that's a range of experience. So there are some people such as mystics, yogis, these guys who literally went their own way to discover their own peak of experience and who became enlightened. So what does that mean when someone sat by a tree and literally became enlightened? Guys, it's a self-reevaluation of life. You are reevaluating life to see that it is not just the temporal universe, but that which considers the temporal. In other words, regardless of what temperature you're feeling now, your survival is not just dependent on a story, it's also dependent on your experience. You need to discover the infinite potential of experience you can have here and see that there's never a need to not be excited. And that's why wonder and excitement is the greatest theme in which all written work can look at. We need to see the edge of what we find is normal and to break that edge, to evolve that edge. Then when we evolve our thinking, we can work with more evolved technology. If we have more of a personal relationship with how we experience energy, it will give you a different view compared to an organized one. The organization of life continues in the unknown. It's as if there is a reason there is a word called echo. You transcend just the first relationships that are in your awareness. You see your humanity can be experienced beyond the borders of the human construct. The human idea never needs to be separate from existence, from earth, from knowing, from nature. Therefore, in the absolute top of a tree, we don't see the tree stopping, but the tree continuing, and seeing that death is continuation with more attention on another dimension of experience. Our wisdom is limited by what we consider to be limited. If you think you are a limited human being who is only using 10% of your body, you'd be depressed. You'd be like, why am I just using 10% of my brain? How do I use the other percent? And you see that it has to go beyond an idea. Then information, like experiential information, becomes valuable. Life continues when you close your eyes. When you literally close your eyes, you're still alive, and then you open them. The darkness of your eyes never bothers you because we're blinking every second. We are literally seeing flashes of light because our eyelids move. We are seeing worlds open and close. We are seeing images. We are recording life. In other words, get comfortable with the first unknown qualities of your own existence. Go really see how limited you are and how much of your mind you're using. Go see how spirituality opens up a vaster sense of intelligence that is sensitive to life process, to the life process in ways that an idea just isn't. I could tell you so many ideas about a pizza, but it will never be the first bite. You know what I mean? Therefore, our thirst and our search is important. You need to be aware what you're searching for in this life. You need to see if that is an end you want to experience again. People should not mentally suffocate themselves to thinking that they're incapable. Never think you're incapable. Never even think you're insecure. Never have even any ideas of yourself. Be selfless and communicate with everyone. Be honest and communicate with everyone. When you are an honest person, you don't have lies to stress you out. And because you need to be completely honest with yourself before you can see what kind of lies are happening. You know, if you are a thief, it's as if you have not acknowledged a part of yourself to engage into more of an existential awareness. A thief must see that it doesn't need to steal because the value is not in the physicality that is always changing. Self-awareness is you. It is life. Life is self-aware. Everything's awareness is connected beyond thought. Why is the scientist even asking a question which is literally what is happening to him? It's as if without memory we don't feel like creators. It's as if without ideas we can't exist. We can, we are, we have. Your heart has been doing it ever since the first day that it considered time and space, when it brought your breath centered enough to become life. Guys, some traditions find rebirth as not a good thing. Tibetan Buddhism sees it as it's not the best thing. They see a rebirth and they see humans being born. It's as if they're like, why? You know, why is there not transcendence? But because there needs to be collective transcendence. There never needs to be a duality that is defining your unity. It's always a unity that knows it's united regardless of the separation it considers. So the value of your moment is clearest to you in the lightest and most, how do I say it, clear way. If you have to make huge life decisions, if you have to make the most important decision of your life, you literally want to make the most crucial decision of your life, before you do it, please embrace the themes of silence and stillness. Before you judge yourself or decide something, reach a state of stillness and silence where you're only with yourself. Calm and you're aware. Go look at the program or the story that is you, which feels uncomfortable. Look at the story first and adjust it inwardly. Do you know? Like if you have a grudge, if you have something, it's not something that should be physically made equal. It's equilibrium comes from inward reflection that balance was always there. Guys, what I'm talking about is more your internal experience that is opening external experience. And if they are the same, if the black and white were always connected, as if the sun and the moon held hands, literally it's as if it was the same orbit. The imagination of the story of our origin is us. It is us. It is simply a separative quality of the space and time we are considered to exist in. I hope in listening to me so far, you understand the value of self-clarity, of looking very clearly at life. Because it's important. I'm not talking about an obsessive thing. I'm not talking about, it's urgent, we need to save the planet type of thing. I'm talking about you getting comfortable with any experience you'll ever have in your life. You can only find that comfort. Why even think there is failure? Just be comfortable with any change, you know? And then you see there is literally no failure. There's no bottom. You define how low you think your life is. You could be a very impressive being to to incarnate as an African child, because you know you're capable in that arena. In other words, it's no longer the duality of what culture defines to be right or wrong, but it simply becomes experience of infinite separation. It is simply your eyes. You are your eyes to the extent that you embrace them even when they close. There are many trajectories, there are many angles in which your life may be directed. And feel that regardless of that angle you will manifest, you have the ability to look at all the angles before. You can literally be the 360 view. Human beings can be 360. It doesn't need to be in 180s. You can see beyond the ideas of sight you have about yourself. And hopefully, with all this, the value of your own existence is the greatest to you always. You value your existence, your experience, and you're comfortable with everything. You know, that is Zen. That is simply Buddhism. You're just comfortable. You can handle anything. The worst idea can manifest in front of you, and you understand that the idea can never be you. You know? You understand that you are comfortable with existence because you don't exist. It's a nothingness. It's an empty, infinite spectrum. And if I'm the first person to say that, I was never the first, it was the collective, this voice. In other words, at some point, I love my own expression because it is the eyes of existence. Literally, in other words, the way I behave is no longer limited to only the value of my idea self. It's as if a selfless experience of life where certain physical things don't matter, you know? You see the ideas as much as you see the plants, as much as you see the lights, as much as you see everything. It becomes a clear view where there's no self-judgment to even bring a lack of clarity. You don't need to feel you're confused. You need to be aware. Take action. Awareness. Guys, awareness is the most important word of this generation and the generations to come. Guys, it has always been to become aware of yourself. Don't accept that you are just an updated version of an ape. You are that, but you're also that which is pulling it towards its transcendence. You are also the growth of existence. You are not that different. If you don't keep yourself in a law court, if you don't convict yourself to a certain way of being, you can experience being beyond definition, where you will simply become the greatest poet and greatest voice, because you're experiencing ideas that humanity has never tapped into. Speak about awareness all the time. Wisdom is awareness. Wisdom is not memorizing stories. Wisdom is awareness. Regardless, you are wise to yourself and experience such a wisdom. Thank you. May the heart of man clearly see why it has always been beating. Thank you.